Alright, now that she's gone, back with a part 2 on plastic welding. As you've seen in the other video, we were roughly in about 5 pieces with the hot iron gun, the soldering gun, and a zip tie. So patience. We are now back to 1 piece. So to make everything nice and real sturdy, even though the zip tie was real good, but we want to go a little bit tougher, and we also are going to go another step and do some Bondo because we're looking for a nice finish, nice flat or nice gloss black finish when we're done. So we're going to go a little above and beyond with this project. I went down to Old Wally World. Advanced Auto, I believe, sells this too, but it's a little bit cheaper. Advanced Auto, or excuse me, it's a little bit cheaper at Walmart. Fiberglass resin kit. Comes with your fiberglass cloth, comes with your fiberglass resin, and comes with, of course mine's a little bit of a mess because it leaked out on me, but comes with the hardener. Stuff's pretty simple to use. It stinks, but what we're going to do, I'm going to mix the hardener in with the resin. Definitely want to wear gloves with this stuff because it is some nasty, gnarly stuff. It'll turn your skin black, and it'll stay black for days until it wears off. But go ahead and get you some rubber gloves, cheapo paintbrush, and a dish that your wife or mother don't care about. And we'll go ahead and get it mixed up. Be right back with you. Alright, my camera work is shoddy, 100%, but I'm going to do my best for you guys. Get you set up best I can. Okay. We'll go ahead and read you want to make sure you read the directions on mixing this stuff, because it does matter on it matters how much resin you put in versus how much hardener you put in. I'm trying to do all 3 sections in one. I'm trying to do all 3 sections in one take. So I mixed up enough to do that with. And I made my hardener a little strong because I don't want it to take all night long. But once you get your fiberglass strips cut to the length and width that you like, you go ahead, paint this stuff on with your brush. Don't try not to get it where you don't want it, because if you get it on the side that you're painting, it's hard to get it sanded down, sanded off. But you want to go above and beyond your crack with a layer to stick your fiberglass cloth to. Okay, I hope y'all can see this. I am going a little fast because this stuff don't take long to set up. And I said before, I'm hoping to do all 3 sections in one sitting here. So once you get that set, you do a layer of the resin onto the surface, and then get your cloth soaked with the resin also. I like to work my way from the middle of it out to the edges, kind of like you'd be doing a decal. You always work, your centers out to the edges. so you ain't got a chance of wrinkles. But this just helps you, it helps it stick so that you can get a good amount of it. And you want to take your brush and mush that. You'll see your cloth will be white where you have an air pocket. So make sure you got enough resin and you're pushing it in there real good. Get all that. You want all that cloth. You don't want no white spots in that cloth. Okay. Move on to my next piece. Go on the crack and beyond the crack. Same time, being careful not to get it where you don't want it. Okay. Set my next piece. Same thing. I'm gonna work this right in there good. Starting from the middle, work your way out. Next piece. I cut my resin, or I cut my fiberglass to be wide enough to make a difference for strongness. Because if it ain't wide enough, then it won't be strong enough. You ain't gotta worry about using too much of this because it'll harden. Once the chemicals mix together and do their thing, it'll harden. You just want to make sure you cover it all. That's the main trick. Because where you don't cover is not going to be a hard fiberglass when it is dry. And while you got it still wet, when you're done doing your pieces, go back real quick and look for any spots that you need to dab again. Which mine look pretty damn good if I don't say so myself. And I'm only doing this to the inside. Some more, so I'm just gonna take my leftover and evenly distribute it to the pieces that I have on there, so that I'm not wasting none. It's already starting to gel up, and if it gets real jelly on you, don't even try to continue with it, because you'll make more of a mess than you want to deal with. Yeah, she's You're gonna tack up good. Okay. Hopefully you guys seen that process. I was a little quick with it, but you don't really have a lot of time to play with this fiberglass. But that's what you're looking for when you're finally done, because I don't have any, which is a very good thing. But if you have any white spots, like I call them dry spots, if you have a white spot that is a dry, you don't have enough resin on it. So make sure you have it good and pressed in. Once this chemical reaction mixes and dries, my repair is done. I don't, with as strong as the plastic welds with the zip tie and everything, with as strong as that was, and then I just added this too, I'm very happy with the structure of this. So once this does dry, I'm going to be able to start doing my Bondo to the outside cracks. But we'll stop you there and come back to when I get the Bondo mixed up. Once this hardens, I'll come back, show you it all done and hardening, and then I'll start mixing up the Bondo. I'll show you how I'm going to fill in all them cracks. If you made it this long in the video, 1, you're bored as fuck. 2, you find me attractive and sexy as fuck. Or 3, you want to see how this trailer comes out. After I flick a beetle off my tit, this is the fiberglass resin I was telling you about a little earlier. Rock hard. All of my joints. So I've made 5 pieces, nice and strong, into one. Not going anywhere. Jiggle it, wiggle it, figgle it. And now we're going to get rid of all these cracks. All these ugly cracks are going to go bye-bye. And how we do that is good old-fashioned Bondo. Again, you can buy this stuff right at Home Depot, right at Walmart. If you don't have a big project, you got a small project like what I'm doing here, then you can get it in a quart. I use it quite a bit, but not every day, so I bought me a gallon of it. I got some extra. Real simple. Get your hardener, get your Bondo globbed out. I like to use these plastic plates from the paper and plastic aisle at Walmart. They're a real good, strong surface to work with, and you just chuck it away when you're done with this. Like, we're just gonna chuck this, and I'm all done. I'm not even gonna try to save it and work it again. Use a desired amount of hardener. I like to mix it up a little bit pink, so yeah, it takes it a little longer to dry, but it gives me more time to work with it. Get your favorite size putty knife and just start mixing till all the gray is gone. You don't want any gray, because if you have any gray, your Bondo ain't gonna dry. I used to be scared of Bondo when I was younger because you never wanted to mess it up, and it was so hard to work with, and until my dad one day, we were working on an old junk truck out in the barn, And I said, hey, how are you so good at that? I'd like to get good at that. And how he showed me was, he mixed up a batch. He said, pay attention. So I watched him. And then the next batch that he made, he handed it to me. And then I worked at a mill for a long time in the finishing department. And I was over there for almost 2 years. And that's all we did was Bondo the areas. So once you get your Bondo in a nice goop like that, you ain't got long to work with it. You're lucky to get 2 solid minutes out of it.
The smell.
So you're not going to get this perfect in 1 coat of Bondo. You're not going to get it perfect in 2 coats. Probably not even going to get it perfect in 3 coats. Bondo is a long taking process. I always goop the first layer on nice and heavy. Because that's going to give me my base to work with. Got to start somewhere when you're doing a job. So I got a messed up working area here because it's a weird surface. So I have to keep spinning it. Yeah, she's already starting to tack up on me, which is okay. Like I said, you're not going to get this in the first shot, second shot, not even probably the 3rd shot. 4th and 5th is when you're really going to start. Yeah, she's getting to the point where you can't work with it anymore. That's alright. Smooth it out as best we can. Wait for that to harden. We'll sand that off and we'll get our next batch going. Just so that you're not bored watching me in this process of just standing here waiting for it to dry. We'll get back to you as soon as we're ready for our next batch. Well, I might show you sanding real quick. So we'll see you in a few. Alright, so now once we got it happy with the coat of Bondo, which I am actually very pleased with the smoothness. I don't feel any of my cracks. What I like to do is give whatever I'm painting an alcohol bath. And then once that's good and dry, that's when I hit it with my primer. So I'm going to give it an alcohol bath and we'll be right back. So there's a couple reasons behind the alcohol bath. Number one, when you're working with Bondo and you start sanding, it gets real dusty, as you can see with my shop. And that was just a couple layers of Bondo. But I got 3 layers of Bondo built up to where I like it. I don't feel any of the cracks. I got it sanded down smooth. So what we do is we let the alcohol dry up real good overnight, and then that's when I'm going to hit it with the primer. Just regular flat gray primer, Rust-Oleum. And yes, alcohol dries pretty fast, but it's still kind of damp or moist in some spots, so we're just going to let that dry up overnight, and then that's when I'm going to hit it with the primer and paint tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, and we'll let you know when we're at that point. Alright, now is the stage. I got this all primered. I got 3 coats of primer on it. I'm pretty happy with it. See the Bondo bleed through a little bit, but I'm going to put probably 4 good coats of paint, black paint on this, so I can get I want to get a nice deep shine. So I'm going to get my, this is my favorite gloss black to work with. It is expensive, but I'll tell you, if you want something black and you don't want it to look like shit with high and low spots, this is the one to get. But it's $9, but I promise you'll like it. It's the best as far as gloss black goes. So I'm gonna get that shooken up and hand the camera over to my cameraman, and we'll start laying the paint right to this. We got our paint shook up real good. I usually do it for a full minute, and then it's a brand new can of paint. So what I like to do is, before I put it on my surface, give it a couple of test sprays. Make sure there's not going to be any thick globby crap spraying out. And then I don't cover it. I layer it. So you're going to see some primer bleeding through. And I do that for a real good reason. And that is so we don't get no runs. Second and third coats where paint starts to pop. Do this with any paint project you're doing. Don't try to cover every square inch with it on your first coat. That's where people fuck up and get runs. Just layer it on. Yeah, you're gonna see on your first coat, especially your first coat, you're gonna see some primer bleed through here or there, or a spot that's not shiny here or there. And that's where layering comes in play. This isn't something that can be rushed. One of my customers, every time I do a paint project for them, "Oh, are you done yet? It's taking so long." Well, I'm trying to do a good job for you. And this ain't a 5-minute process. So yeah, our first coat looks okay, but you know, you got some shit spots in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait 2 to 3 minutes, and just as the paint starts to pack up, I'm going to hit it again with my second coat. That way there, it bleeds together real good. So That's how I paint a lot of things. I don't get greedy with the paint on the first coat or the second coat. The third coat's where it starts to build on, and you get that nice thick paint that looks like you did it with an air compressor. I got a lot of people who say, "Hey, you painted that? You do painting with air compressors, cars and stuff?" No, I paint with spray cans, and a lot of people don't believe me. But just because I layer it on, I found a technique that works for me. I put it on with thin coats, and after about the third coat into the fourth coat, you really start getting a pop and the shine and everything. So after this tacks up, I'm gonna hit it again. So we'll be right back. So we're gonna hit it with our second coat now. There's our second coat, and as you can see, the high and low spots went away. I want to go 2 more coats to make me happy, because why I'm putting so many coats on and why I'm looking for a deep gloss is because once I wax this, this is the trailer that it's going on, and once I wax this trailer, it's going to be a nice deep gloss, you know, brings the paint back real gloss and shiny. But there's that section that I'm fixing. Actually, while I'm waiting for my paint to dry in between coats, I'm actually going to take and wash this stuff off of there, get all that crap off there, so when I put my caulking on, there is no chance of it not sealing. So we'll be back in a jiff. Alright everybody, that's gonna do it for me on this one. You've seen what I had to work with on the first video I did on this fixed weld your own plastic, weld broken plastic, whatever I named it. Go ahead back and check that video out. I think we'll have another satisfied customer. Thing waxed up real nice. Of course, my hitch is too big, too high for this trailer, but anyways, that's why I go in depth on the work that I do, because that makes a night and day difference. And you couldn't replace that panel through the company or online. I tried, so we just screw it, work with what we have. But yeah, she waxed up real good. I do own a pair of guns, so if you feel like coming to track me down for the information that my license plates are giving off, go right ahead. I got a 200-pound Great Dane's gonna meet you right at the door. But please comment, share, subscribe. Definitely would appreciate you. Thanks a lot for watching in this deep. Have a good one, guys.